action.
Okay, so this is a dissection of the C5 cervical vertebrae level. So the first thing I want you to identify are the bony landmarks that are around our spinal cord. The vertebral body, the transverse process that has a transverse foramen. In the transverse foramen, these two blood vessels are the vertebral arteries, right there. This is the lamina, and then that forms the spinous process. And then this right here going up are the superior articular processes. Here's the facet. Now, we see the spinal cord. It has three protective coverings. So, watch this. This first covering right here is the dura mater. The next one in, right there, is the arachnoid mater. It's right up against the dura mater. And then the third one is the pia mater. Right? So it goes dura, arachnoid, pia. There's also spaces associated with the meninges. Outside the dura mater, this space right here, filled with fat, is the epidural space. Under the dura mater, between the dura and the arachnoid, this brown line right here, this kind of brownish line, that represents a potential space called the subdural space. Under the arachnoid, or deep to the arachnoid, this big space here, that is called the subarachnoid space. That contains cerebrospinal fluid. And then finally, again, this is the pia mater. Okay, so those are your three meninges and the spaces. We now see the inside of the spinal cord. This little indentation right over here is the posterior median sulcus. This bigger indentation right here is the anterior median fissure. A fissure is always deeper than a sulcus. This is gray matter, and then this out here is white matter. So let's identify the regions of the gray matter. Here and here are the dorsal horns. Out here and here, lateral horns. And then in the front, here and there, ventral horns. Connecting the two sides of the spinal cord, gray commissure. And then in the middle is a little hole called the central canal. The white matter, these are the posterior or the dorsal columns. This is the right lateral column right there, left lateral column. And then over here are the white columns, anterior white columns. Now, the spinal cord gives rise to two nerves that come off to the side. The spinal nerves are made by roots. So in the front, this right here is the ventral root. This right here is the dorsal root. The dorsal root also has a swelling. If we look over here, this swelling is called the dorsal nerve root ganglia. This is where the cell bodies of the unipolar neurons stay, and they live there. So these two roots come together to form a nerve root right there. The nerve root is going to divide into four branches. For our purposes, we're going to look at just two. This smaller branch right here is the posterior or the dorsal ramus. This bigger one here, number 20, is the anterior or ventral ramus. Right? And that's everything for this model. It's easy when you go through it quickly.